They used him in pick and roll to get into his post situations, early post ups as well. It's just trying to play with smart activity. Obviously, trying to limit, their ability to draw fouls. Work for the post position. Who's going to win that battle early in possessions is big, and then just not giving him any angles to really be a threat. He's a hell of a player. It's going to be a tough test, but we know they're going to try to feature him in a lot of different ways. It's off-ball screens, it's post ISOs, it's pick and rolls into posts. So I thought our guys did a great job knowing the different situations they like to feature him in, and we just did it with just smart activity.
I promised I was going to ask about how you defended Anthony, but since that was just asked, what happened with Ja?
So all the way up, did all the testing, still battling some soreness and a little pain. It's just a collective decision. We all decided that, obviously he's a warrior. He wants to be out there, would do anything to be out there. But we just felt like, hey, just given all the testing results that, given this game and just with a couple more days in between, we're hopeful that, with the progress he's making the last couple of days, he'll be back sooner rather than later. Can't guarantee when that's going to be, but it was just one of those things that we just couldn't, pull it to have him in tonight. But, hopefully over the next couple of days, there's more significant improvement.
Taylor, just the Lakers not only just 7 3-point attempts or 3-pointers made, but also they had 26 attempted. What was the difference in the defensive execution tonight as opposed to game one?
Yeah, just better awareness of their ball movement. We watched after game one, their spacing and how, again, I just talked about, the discipline and our rotations, just our when we just take a misstep, they find, their shooters. I thought in game one, James did a great job of it. Davis did a great job of it. Russell coming off his pick and rolls and finding guys, just our urgency to get to the three-point line and just be in the right spot initially. So they didn't have these windows of opportunity. We just try to, limit those as much as possible. So we'll see what the adjustments are, going into game three. We'll watch the film and see, where we did well and where we didn't do well. But it was just a matter of just being really disciplined on the backside, knowing that they try to thrive in setting flares and cuts and letting those guys be, facilitators early before they go score.
Taylor, was John Conchar rim protecting against Anthony Davis part of the game plan tonight?
Jitty doing Jitty things. That was huge. Obviously, I think AD's getting deep post catches, and we talked about how our weak side rotations had to be there because that was an emphasis going the series when he's trying to get deep, and he's hurt us in the past. And then just Jitty, comes out of the right spot to make a huge play, makes it twice. That's just really impressive. It's just guys making winning plays. They get your opportunity. He didn't play in game one, but he stayed ready to go out there and again just do Jitty things, and he makes defensive plays, winning plays. Made a huge impact in the minutes that he had tonight.
To do this without Ja, I know you obviously did it in the Golden State series last year, won a home game, but I don't know. I'm curious what the word would be. Was it reassuring to see these guys rise up the way they did?
I don't know what the word is, but it's just a great description of the depth of our team, the resilience of our team. We've battled this, throughout the regular season the last 2 years, now 2 playoffs in a row. But the guys know what our DNA is. We compete together, and we just got to focus on getting better. And we had to get better from game one, set a different tone, have a different mentality. Whoever's in the lineup, what our expectations are. Great example of that, on the biggest stage in the biggest game, as I said. But now things are going to pivot. We got to go on the road, and we got to do everything that we just talked about from game one to game two 10 times better, knowing that we're going on the road.
Taylor, 2 of 5 at the free throw line and then ended up managing to match them at the line for the game. How key was it getting to the line there in the second half and being able to knock shots down? Yeah,
big. I thought we were doing a pretty decent job in the first half of, getting downhill. We just missed opportunities with our drive and kick. Obviously, AD's presence, I think he had 5 blocks in the first half, the way they were collapsing. But we kept telling our guys, we still have to attack. We still have to have multiple paint touches, whether that's Dez, attacking downhill. It's JJ on, his perimeter drives. Whoever it was, we just had to continue making that an emphasis because that's where we thrive. Collapse the defense, then make the right reads. Was able to knock down some big threes. Obviously, Luke and D-Rod off the bench, both I think with 3 threes apiece. But just playing with force, even against their physical defense and having AD down there, we still have to make that the initial part of our offense.
Yeah, Tillman shot well from 3 as a rookie and then obviously hit that huge one at Golden State in the play-in game. It sort of disappeared from his game the last 2 seasons. Hit one tonight? Is that something you talked about looking for with AD sort of sagging into the paint, or that just sort of happened?
I think that just kind of evolved. He's been huge. Obviously he was amazing on the boards tonight. He's playing around in the dunker spot. He's playing in a lot of pick and rolls and the elbows for us. I think he caught another one out in the corner. I don't think he shot that one, but it's just kind of a product of him and reading the personnel out there with him. Is it JJ? Is it Santi? Is it JJ on a roll, Santi on a roll? We talk about respacing and not trying to clutter the paint. That one was a great example. I think the ball was coming from right to left, and we had an overload, and he knew if he cut, he was probably going to crowd the paint a little bit more, and obviously was ready to shoot. And he practices that all the time. He's practicing his three-point shot. I know it hasn't been a big focal point of his game because he's excelling in other areas, but he's always got to stay ready no matter what the space presents. And I was glad he shot with a lot of confidence.
Taylor, on a night like tonight when Jaren receives the Defensive Player of the Year award and, he's got 3 blocks, he's on the floor, he's leaving it all out there. How much of that is you and him having conversations about how much time he's going to play? Because he played the most minutes on the court tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you see the impact he has, plus minus, the scoring, block shots, rebounds. We start changing up our pick and roll coverages. We need him out there. I talked to him, before the series. We especially with DB too. From a defensive standpoint, we need those guys out there to set a tone for us. Obviously, a very special night. JJ getting recognized Defensive Player of the Year in front of the home crowd. What a great ovation for him. But as he said, I think when he even got the award, he was focused on Game 2. So I think after he got the award tonight, he was focused on Game 2. And obviously, those almost 40 minutes that he played tonight were crucial for us because we're going to need him to make a continued big impact no matter what his minutes are on both sides of the floor moving. Great. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, LeBron, to start with you, you've been in situations before, up 1-0 in a road arena, expecting that type of desperation. How did you try to convey that to your teammates the last couple of days, and were there difficulties with that, just the whole team matching what Memphis did tonight in general?
No, I mean, it wasn't. Don't need to be a discussion. I mean, at the end of the day, we understand what a series is all about. I mean, it's not the first of 1 win or 2; it's the first of 4, and you got to prepare each and every game. Every game is its own entity, so you got to prepare for that challenge. And I feel like we was prepared tonight. We just didn't execute as well as we did in Game 1 for as close to 48 minutes. So they made adjustments. We made some adjustments, and you tip your hat to them. They played a well of a game tonight.
AD, obviously not your typical offensive night. Just wondered what you saw, the way they were defending you, and some of the shots that you were missing.
So I took, just missed them. A lot of shots close to the rim. Normally, make, go in. Flush it, get ready for Wednesday. Or whatever day we play, Friday, Saturday. So.
LeBron, one of the points that Darvin brought up, thinking in the moment, ways to get things going a little bit more, is playing with more pace, but not just getting up and down the court in transition, but in the half court in terms of setting screens and matching physicality, opening up angles. Do you think that's the type of basketball we'll take against the Grizzlies, considering their makeup as one of the more physical teams?
Yeah, we definitely could play with more pace. I think they did a good job of they switched a lot of our pick and rolls today, which kind of stalls your offense out. So, we're trying to go to a lot of the mismatches once we got the mismatch after the pick and roll, and it kind of got us down in the shot clock. And we was playing up against the shot clock a lot, especially in that second half. So, we got to watch the film and see ways that we can get into our offense early, and then when they do switch, we can, make plays happen so we're not playing up against the shot clock.
AD, despite you're not your typical shooting night, and some other guys struggle from the field. 6-point game with 3 minutes to go. What does it tell you about your group that you, despite all the things that weren't going well for you guys tonight, you made it a game, and can you carry that momentum back to Game 3?
Yeah, we're going to keep fighting no matter what. No matter what type of game we're having, offensively, defensively, individually as a team. We always keep fighting. Like you said, 6-point game, 3 minutes, still had a chance to possibly win the game, and that's all we can ask for, fight. Obviously I have to be better with our group. Can't have a night like I had tonight and expect us to win. But I think we'll look at the film over the next couple of days and be ready for Saturday and make some adjustments and try to get a win at home.
AD, we see the cut. Did that have any effect at all after you got kind of hit in the eye in the first half?
No.
And then early on, from an energy standpoint, both teams got off to really kind of rocky shooting starts. How did that kind of change? Do you think that energy sort of affected you guys, that you were in that position, neither team was making shots, and it felt like you couldn't really gain any ground on them?
No. You know, they were playing with a lot of pace. We were playing with pace. Obviously, you know, both teams know the importance of this game. You know, us trying to go up 2-0 and them trying not to fall down 0-2. You know, we missed shots. You know, they missed shots, and you know, we only scored 19 points in the first quarter. You know, which is not like us. So, you know, we got to make sure we do a better job, but you know, we'll be fine.
This one's for either of you, but with
that's some other shit.
with
yeah.
Oh wait. With Tyus replacing Ja, what kind of challenge does he provide in his pick and roll style and just kind of some of the tweaks to their offense that you guys noticed today?
No, I mean, they don't miss a beat when Tyus goes to the starting lineup. They're just as a dangerous team when Tyus is starting. You know, so they don't miss a beat, and we knew that. We, you know, no matter if Ja's in the game, if Ja's starting, dangerous. If Ty is starting, dangerous. So it didn't change our approach.
Obviously, you know, towards the end of the regular season, you know, with the turnover on the roster and you coming back from injury, you know, there was a race now, obviously not just to get into the playoffs, but also for you guys to learn how to play together. And I'm just wondering where you guys feel you are right now in terms of, you know, in the process of becoming the team you want to be.
I mean, every game is another opportunity for us to get better, for us to continue to learn each other. Like you said, we're relatively new to a lot of the competition that's in the field, you know, not only the Eastern Conference, but the Western Conference as well. So, you know, every night, you know, when we step on the floor, you know, now in the postseason, we get to see what we're capable of and where we are as far as our growth. And, you know, tonight was another moment for us to grow, and we did.
Last three, we'll take BT, take this gentleman here in the back, and then the gentleman in the middle.
Eddie, in the past, when you haven't had your best games in the playoffs, you come back strong. How much are you looking forward to Game 3?
Looking forward to it. Wish we could play tomorrow. I say get home, a couple of days rest, a couple of days of film, and I'll be ready for Game 3 for sure.
LeBron, one more thing on Tyus. As such an unflappable player, really decision maker, as somebody who values each and every possession, knowing how important they are, what can you appreciate about his game in particular?
I mean, he's just a true professional. No matter if he's starting, no matter if he's coming off the bench, plays the same style. You know, like I said before the series started, I think over the last 5 or 6 seasons, he led the league in assist turnover ratio. So to let you know, he's not out there ever making mistakes. And he plays winning basketball. He's been playing winning basketball probably since he was a kid, all the way through high school, through Duke, and so on and so on. So, you know, he's a big time player in our league, and you know, it always shows. It always shows in the stat sheet with him.
Last question.
LeBron, although you lost this game too, you still have the home court advantage of the whole series. How do you assess the team chemistry right now? Do you think you have reached the best team chemistry, or there are still some space to improve?
There's always room to improve, and you know, it's a 1-1 series. Both teams are tied. Both teams feel like they can win on each other's floor, on the opponent's floor. So, you know, it gives us no comfort that we're going home, and we shouldn't feel comfortable going home with a 1-1 tie. You know, Game 3 is the most important game of the series. And if we're not uncomfortable going into that game, they can very easily come in our hometown and our home court and take the series back. So, you know, like you said, we got a day tomorrow to regroup, another day on Friday to hit home and zone in on what needs to be done. And then on Saturday is back to the 4 lines, you know, what happens in between the 4 lines on the court. So I'm excited about the opportunity to play again, another playoff game. And I believe this is our first game at the house, huh? In front of our fans, ain't it? In the postseason. First time, so I'm excited. I'm excited for that. All right, appreciate it.
Tyus, when did you learn that you were going to be starting today? And, I mean, I know we've asked you in the past, you know, how does it impact your preparation? But being that it was a playoff game and the number of minutes that you were going to have to play, did any of that factor into how you prepared for this game?
I prepared the same way I always do. Preparation doesn't change. just because I've said it before, you never know what could happen. Never know which way the game's going to go. But I learned about an hour before the game, kind of when everyone else learned, and just ready to go, ready to lead the team. Nothing really changes from my standpoint. Just the minutes are increased, but just trying to lead the guys to a win. Just trying to be myself out there on the court, and we were able to get a win. So that's the most important thing.
Hey, Tyus, if you look at the box score, no one stood out. It was almost like a well-oiled machine. People was doing what they needed to do. I know it's a broken record, next man up mentality, but how can you go that smooth on the highest of stage?
Just trusting in our work. That's just our philosophy all year. It's just been kind of next man up mentality. We know it's a team effort. And just believing in one another. So just continue to believe in one another, continue to believe in each other, trust in our game plan, and living with the results.
Tyus, it doesn't appear it to us, but when you're starting for job in a playoff game, in your mind, do you have to change your style at all? Do you feel like you have to be more assertive or anything of that nature?
Not at all. Not at all. The game kind of dictates that. For me, I've always been the type of player, point guard, who, just takes what the defense gives you. There's times to be aggressive looking to score. There's times to try to facilitate a little more. But ultimately, again, just trying to be a leader, just trying to lead my guys to a win is ultimately, the end goal, most important thing. Taking my shots when they're there, making the right reads, trying to get good quality possessions each and every time down the floor. And but yeah, no, the mindset doesn't change. And yeah, regardless if I'm playing, 36 minutes or 6 minutes, I'm going to continue to approach the game the same way, try to approach it the right way. And, my guys allow me to just be myself and lead.
Tyus, when X comes out, makes I think his first 6 shots in the first miss was there at the end of the first half, double, career high in the postseason. When he does that against those bigs, AD and LeBron, how much does that help out this team?
Huge. He was, X played great. He was big time tonight, and we needed that. And it's when he's playing like that, it brings a whole new dynamic to our team. And he owned the paint tonight, owned the glass, was extremely efficient, rolling to the hoop, running in transition, rim running, getting out, putting pressure on their defense, collapsing their defense. So we had driving lanes and things like that. And so, he was big time for us tonight and a big reason why we got the win.
Tyus, the Lakers scored 93 points, and they had 7 threes, but they also only shot 26. Just what did you notice about the difference in y'all's defensive execution tonight?
Just sticking to the game plan a little better. Our discipline was better, and our physicality was better. They weren't able to get to their spots as easy as they were in game 1, and that was kind of the focus. So just continue to stay disciplined. Obviously, they got guys who are going to be able to get to their spots regardless. That's what they've done their whole career. But just trying to make it as difficult as possible on them, trying not to let them see any easy ones go in, and just making them work, for everything for the full 48.
Tyus, heading on the road now, not knowing if you're going to be starting for Game 3, but what are you guys going to try to carry from here, playing in this atmosphere on your home turf, to, obviously on the road where it hasn't always been easy during the regular season?
Yeah, we know we haven't been good on the road. We talked about it all year. Postseason's the new season, and we know the task at hand. We know what's in front of us, and we got to be ready to go. Game 3, we know they're not gonna, lay down. They're gonna want to respond from Game 3 after this game, and we got to be ready to go. Talked about our discipline, both ends of the floor, trusting in each other, having the next guy's back on defense, and then offensively continue to trust our game plan on the offensive end of the floor, take our shots with confidence, and live with the results. Thank you, guys.
ready, Rui?
Yeah.
Rui, it was generally a very tough offensive game for you guys as a team, but you were able to get your rhythm or keep it from game one. Just wonder what kind of comfort zone you're in right now and how you feel about your current role in the team.
Yeah, for sure. As a team, I think offensively tonight we couldn't get in the rhythm we couldn't get in the rhythm from the beginning of the game, and we had a couple runs, but they did a pretty good job on the AD and D-Lo tonight, and yeah, it's just one of those games. We could have gotten in a rhythm tonight. Yeah.
Rui, when you and LeBron are in there as kind of the 4 and the 5 with the bench group, what's the key to protecting the paint, cleaning the defensive glass and just making sure that they're not getting easy buckets at the rim?
Like I've been saying, they're a very physical team, so we just gotta match their energy, and we just gotta box out. When they shoot a ball, they're gonna crash every time. So, and the defense, we always gotta, like you said, me and LeBron gotta be, when we play 4 and 5, we gotta be in the help side and ready to block the shots and get the offense, get the rebounds.
Rui, you're in the league long enough, you realize that even if a team is missing one of its best players, sometimes that can result in just more energy for the group that does play.
Yeah.
Did you sense any of that energy from them, any desperation or whatever, what have you?
Yeah, for sure, and especially they lost the first game at home, so, they wanted this one. They needed this one so bad. So, but, yeah, it's just one of the, the things that you just mentioned, like, when their best players are off, like, they play together more. They were sharing the ball tonight, and everybody was scoring. So it was hard for us to guard. So right now, there's we just gotta watch a film back. It's almost like a totally different team. When the Jazz in and out. So we just gotta watch the team and watch the film, and we gotta get back on the third game. Yeah.
And you guys went on something like a 17-4 run in the third to make it a game. You were scoring throughout that stretch. What do you think was working in that stretch that you can apply moving forward?
I think we were just moving the ball, and we are getting stops. That was just simple. It was just when we on the stops, like when we getting like stops in a rows, like that's how our offense get moving, and so we just gotta focus on defense side, and the offense bring everybody can score on this team, so we just gotta focus on more defense. Yeah.
Rui, speaking of that third quarter, you went in for LeBron. I think after he went, scored a bunch of baskets, he came out, you came in, and I think you got pretty aggressive right away. Were you told kind of that you had a green light at that point, or did the shots just happen to come?
I mean, no, like I've been saying, like the coaches and LeBron, AD, everybody, they D-Lo, everybody, include everybody, they always want to be aggressive, They always have a green light to, shoot the ball, be aggressive on the, offense grass and, just play my game. So, it was nothing new, yeah.
Rui, whether you're manning the 4 or 5 with LeBron, with Memphis doing so much damage in the paint in that first half in particular, is that something that you have a sense of before you're checking in as far as contesting shots even further? Are you feeling that sort of energy on the bench?
Yeah, for sure. They were trying to attack the paint, like you said, the first half. So when the AD's out, we're gonna be smaller. So we just gotta defense together. That's gonna be the key. Yeah.
お疲れ様です。前回プレーオフに出た時から時に遡ると4試合連続20点以上を挙げてるんですけれども、そのうちの3試合がアウェー敵地で、プレーオフの敵地ってすごく難しいと思うんですが、そこでこんだけいいプレーできるっていうのは何なんでしょうかね。
敵地のところで戦う時は僕は結構好きで、自分のなんていうんですかね、相手のチームがとかファンがあーってなるぐらいのそういう反応とかが結構好きなので、そういうところが僕のモチベーションというか僕のリズムのつかめるんじゃないかなと思います。
points and rebounds in the first 5 minutes tonight than you did in game one, and then you just kept going from there. What made this such a big bounce back game for you?
Just trying to assert myself. Watching the film of the first game, I didn't really assert myself. I was kind of going through the motions. The coach had mentioned it in a couple meetings we had about like the urgency that we need to play with. So I just felt like I need to turn that up and turn up my energy level and just be more assertive and more aggressive early on.
X, just big picture with all this, your journey just this season, Summer League, G League, rotation, out of the rotation, to kind of come here. Guarding Anthony Davis.
You couldn't write this, bro.
How does it feel?
It's humbling, bro. It's humbling. It like lets me know that like no matter what I'm going through, like it always pass. I just seen a video about it yesterday. Like kind of like life is like a wave. Like you on your wave, you're feeling good, and then it might crash. You might be down for a little bit, waiting for your next wave to come, but it'll come. That's just how life works. As long as you keep working and keep trusting everything that you've been putting in, it'll come to fruition. And it did. It's crazy though. I'll tell you that.
Hey, X, yesterday you had 2 quick fouls, and that seemed to take you out of your first half, and you got a little bit in the second half, but today you were more aggressive, yet you didn't pick those fouls up. So how did that help you to skyrocket up this game?
Yeah, it just allowed me to be on the floor more, not picking up those fouls just allows me to be more aggressive in the second and third and fourth quarter versus in the first game picking up those 2. I'm sort of tentative not to pick up another one in the first half and really have to sit on the bench. So once I was able to finish the first quarter without picking up those 2 fouls, I felt good throughout the rest of the game.
In scoring, as DeMichael mentioned, you're going up against AD and LeBron sometimes there in the paint, and you were kind of weaving in and out of there. What did you see on film that helped you find some of those spots to finish off some of those buckets?
They give me a lot of space. So it's my job to take up that space and to use my big frame to create contact and then just go from there. Trust my instincts, whatever I see, whatever I feel, just finish it out. And that allows me, you saw it today, kind of allowed me to get a lot of buckets that like look easy, but like just letting my instincts kind of just flow instead of not overthinking it. It helped me a lot.
X, so tonight AD was 4-14 from the field. Just what do you thought were the keys to the execution on kind of just slowing him down and not letting him have a big impact offensively?
Physicality, not giving him any easy ones. In that first game he had a lot of drop-offs, a lot of fast break dunks to where we're just like, okay, dude, you can't stop him once he's 2 feet in the paint and he's got the ball. So just keeping him out the paint and being physical with it. So if he makes a shot, it's just a tougher shot. That's what we really, really try to hone in on, and especially not fouling him because he's a great free throw shooter. So locking in on those things for sure really, really helped us do that.
This different year, different situation, obviously, but in some ways tonight, maybe a little indicative of last year's postseason, that game 2 against Minnesota. Were you able to draw anything from that initial experience, the breakout performance, in terms of imposing more assertiveness tonight on your part?
Yeah, it was kind of like the first game was kind of like a feel out. It was kind of like, all right, let's see how they're going to guard you. Let's see, the flow of the game and how you can be assertive. And then over these last 2 days, I think I watched the game at least like 4 times, just seeing, the same spots that I could be more aggressive at. And I just kind of let it flow. And after that, I was able to be aggressive today in those spots that I saw, and it just worked out.
I asked you yesterday about the prospect of your 3-point shot, being a factor in this series. You had one from the top of the key. You almost got one from the corner.
I should have shot it. Everybody was mad. I should have shot it just because, I work on it a lot. I just got to trust it and let it fly and let it go. But I should have shot it.
X, I hear with you when people, in NBA talk about your game, they say you play big. And I was talking to someone from Detroit the other day, former NBA player, and he was bragging on you. He's like, X plays big. What does that mean, when people say you play big?
I don't know. I don't know people.
All right, more perspective. Like, they say, because you're 6'8", but you play bigger than 6'8".
Like, it's probably my ability to rebound with the best of them. And I credit that to my God-given length. I got a 7'2" wingspan. Shouts out to my mom and my dad. I got a 7'2" wingspan. I know how to use my body before the ball, hits the rim, so I have an advantage to get, offensive or defensive rebounds. But that's probably what they mean about me playing big, is just me being able to rebound, with the best of them. Yeah.